welcome to Mini Moderns. My name's Simone and thank you for joining me on my tiny corner on the miniature interweb where we're here to think big, build small. So let's get into it. So today's video is part 2 of our Halloween decorations. I created some printables that are available on my Etsy store and for free for tier 2 and up on my Patreon. It's a fun printable kit where you can cut out as many Halloween decorations as you like, rinse and repeat, my friend. Or I will be making these as bundles already pre-made as well. So there'll be 2 options available in my Etsy store. But before we get started today, I'd like to welcome in anybody new to the channel. Hello, hi, welcome in. And hi to you guys who have been hanging in there with me already. Also, a huge shout out to my Facebook group, Think Big, Build Small. We're building up a nice small community over there of like-minded miniaturists who want to just learn from each other, create and share. So if you feel like doing that, even if you're shy, you can just sit in the background and watch. But head over to my Facebook group. Also, I'd like to give a massive shout out to all of my Patreons. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I do a mini Monday post for free for everybody who's over there on Patreon. Just a mini catch up for the week and what's to come. And also a huge shout out to Suki Tabar for being part of my mini structures. You are very much appreciated, my friend. Your support goes a long way. But as always, I'll leave a link in the description for everything that I'm going to be using in today's video. Remember guys, if you get some value from the video, please let me know in the comments. But without further ado, let's get on with it. So like we did in part 1, we're going to seal our printables with some tacky glue. So you can see here, these are the printables that we're working on today. I completely sealed them and actually let them dry for 24 hours before going on to the next step, which is the cutting out stage. There are lots of cute, fun Halloween designs here. So depending on your preference, there are a few options. And what's cute about these kits, you can print as many times as you want and decide if you want to stick them on your dioramas or scene or if you want them hung up. So today I'm going to show you a few options. I'm going to start with these orange little blocks here. These are paper fans. I don't know if you remember when you was a kid, you used to make those little fans, you know, the little fans when it's too hot. We're going to be making those in order to make our decorations. So the first step is to cut our little box that we have here into strips. Just cut over the black lines, and you want to try and get as central on the black lines as possible because we don't really want to see those in the design, and we can trim some of those off afterwards anyway. So now it's time to make our little fan-like shape. So basically we just fold the paper back and forth like you would if you was making an ordinary fan. Just simply go back and forth like this, and we're going to do that for all of the pieces. So now we have 3 strips of lovely fans which we're going to stick together to make one long strip. Now you could be thinking, why don't you just make one long strip? I tested it, but the measurements weren't quite right. There was something about it that wasn't hitting right. So maybe you could really still do this with one strip, but for me, breaking it down like this made it easier to fold into the shape that we're looking for. So now I'm just going to use my wood glue, stick them together, get your tweezers as well just to pinch them on just for that extra bit of durability, and then just wipe off any excess glue and stick all 3 pieces together. You should have a nice long chain like this, and just wait for the glue to dry before we move on to the next step. Now that that's dry, we can stick both of the ends together. So we're just going to add a nice little bead of glue to one side. I'm using my toothpick again because it's just fantastic for this. And then we're going to fold it over and then just stick those 2 pieces together. And just like before, use your tweezers to hold it in place. And again, remove any excess glue. And then we want to wait for that to dry before we move on to the next step, which is putting this fan together. So you just want to pinch a little bit of the fan and then press it down onto your surface so it forms a little circle with the ridges in it like this. Just take your time and make sure the fan is how you want it to look, because we're going to put a little bit of glue in the middle there just to seal this together so it doesn't come apart. I like that look right there. I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to put some glue all the way in the center. Again, with the glue, a little goes a long way. So I'm just going to put this all the way around the edge. And then I'm going to use my tweezer to push this back together. You want to hold this for a little while so the glue starts to take. And then you've got yourself a little fan like this. I like to bedazzle mine. So I've got some nail gems. You can use anything you want or nothing at all. I just personally think it looks cute in the center, or if you really wanted to go to town, you can stick a whole bunch of them in between each of the little ridges. That'd be really sparkly and cute. I might try that. But for now, I'm just going to stick one in the center using my tweezers again and then just plop that down. But look, are we looking good, guys? Are we looking good? I say, darling, you are looking good. Now I'm going to show you how to add some string to it. I've got this strong and stretchy clear string, so it's great if you just want to hang it from your dioramas, your room boxes without a bit of a obnoxious string in your face. Or you could use some color, have some orange, have some black, whatever you've got. This is a completely optional choice and it doesn't even need string at all. But for the kits that I'm actually making, the pre-made ones, most of them are going to have string, but I'm going to leave a couple out just in case you want to stick them on your wall as a bit of room decor. So, but a lot of them will have the invisible string that you can snip off if it's not to your preference as well. But for my pre-made ones, we will be having string, darlings. Don't they just look adorable? Yes, they do. Thank you. Moving on to the next part, we're going to cut out all of our other little pieces of decorations. We've got bats, pumpkins and ghosts, so we're going to cut all of those out. Here we are again, very simple. Just take your time when cutting them out so they're as neat as possible. And just like before, we're going to add some of our stretchy string to it. Just add a bead of glue to the back and then add your string wherever you like. Again, with the printable option, you do not need to use any string. You can add double-sided tape to the back of it and stick it to your dioramas or your dollhouse. If you've got any tacky wax, you could choose whatever you want to stick it. It doesn't have to be hung, but it's just a nice alternative to kind of have that choice. But here I'm just going to add some string to the back of these, and you can choose whether you want to have the string coming from the top or the bottom. I'm going to show you some examples because maybe you want to have something like popping out of the ground, and if that is the case, you just have the string coming from the bottom instead of from the top. And whilst I let those dry, I'm just going to move on to the buntings. I'm just going to cut these out one word at a time so I don't get confused. So you just start with one section first, make sure it's in the right place, and like before, we're going to hang this over our invisible string. This is so handy, but again, if you wanted to just stick it onto the wall as is, you can, but the string just makes it a little bit more flexible for decorating. But first, I'm going to cut out each individual diamond shape, and when I cut them, I just line them up so that they're in order, because it is very easy to get mixed up because you always kind of have to double check things if you've got a brain like mine. So here they are, already cut up how I want them to be positioned. I've got my string, and now I'm just going to simply fold them over the string and then stick them down. And here is where you have an option to, when you folded it like this, you just put the bead of glue on the fold and then stick that onto the string, or you could put glue on the whole of the back of your diamond and then stick the whole thing together. For durability wise, I think sticking it together would be better, but it's totally optional because you can just leave it open just like this, or as I said, you can have it completely stuck down over your string. So this part is optional. So here I'm going to show you what it looks like. We've just put a little bit of glue on the fold, and then we're just going to literally fold this over the string, and it looks really, really nice as well. Look at that. Now for some editing magic for the final result. Lovely. You see how cool that looks with the invisible string? You could just stick that on your wall, your door, wrap it around a tree, whatever it is that you want to do. It just looks really clean and neat. And just look at all of these together. That's just one of each thing. Remember, there's a whole bunch of these, so you can really go to town, and it's so exciting. I just wanted to show you a quick example with the trick or treat banners as well. These ones, you could literally just fold them in half over the string like this, or stick them on the wall like this, so you don't necessarily need to cut these in strips like the other ones. But that was just another example. But after a considerable amount of time cutting and trimming, I have all the pieces cut up from this set It takes quite some time, but man, it's worth it once it's all done. I've now put string on most of the things that I want string on, but I've also wanted to show you the two different ways, like I mentioned earlier. So you can have string coming from the top, or you could have string coming from the bottom. So if you wanted these ghosts coming from the ground or something, it's just a great way. And another option is to add some resin to the bottom of that, so you know you've got it floating. So there's lots of really cool options. And as I said, as the pack that I'm making, if you don't want the string on it, you can always cut it off. I just think it's a very nice touch. So like with this pumpkin, for example, the string is at the bottom. It's still a bit wet, so I'm just leaving all of these to dry whilst I make the rest of these fans. And another cool touch that I like to add to my sets are glow in the dark paint. It's just to add a bit more of that spooky vibe. So for the pumpkins, for example, you can just add it to the eyes, nose and mouth. The ghost, its eyes, nose and mouth, all of that kind of stuff. They're so good, and you can see it's got a whole bunch of colors, and it tells you on here like what number you're looking for. So for the pumpkin, I would want an orange. So this is orange, perfect. So what I'm going to do is just paint the eyes in. You can use a small paintbrush, a toothpick, or just squeeze it out of the nozzle. I'm going to try and squeeze it here. Be very, very delicate and gentle. Don't want it smudging everywhere. There we go, just put a little bit there. Yay! It's a real concentrating process right now. But there we go. Beautiful, beautiful. And as this is glow in the dark paint, it needs to be activated by dark. It's not dark now, but I can use my UV light to activate that darkness or that glow that you get from the paint. So you can see here, this is how it looks in the dark. I'm going to do the same with my ghosts. I'm going to give this one a green glow and maybe another one a white glow. So in the set that is pre-made, I'm only going to do a few of these with glow in the dark, but if you are purchasing this from me yourself, you can actually send me a message or a DM to specify which ones you want glow in the dark. Maybe it's only the ghost, only the pumpkin, or all of them. It's completely up to you. And if you're doing this from home with the printable, you can go to town and do what the hell you like. Doesn't this look super cool? It's making me laugh. The bloody mouth like that. Oh my gosh. You've got to be careful as well, because obviously where it's glow in the dark, you can't see the mistakes you make, but the dark will. So just make sure to clean up any extra mess that you kind of get. It's not such a huge deal, but you know. This doesn't dry like this as well. I'll show you what they look like dry. Oops. Oh man. Just flip that over. Oh, lucky I didn't get it messy. Yeah. Okay. This hasn't dried yet, but I just wanted to have a look again in the UV light. Ooh. Let's have a look. Just move this. Look at that. Imagine those on your dollhouse walls. Just like, don't they just look awesome? I absolutely love these. I can't wait to do a new Halloween scene. I really can't. Look at that. So cool. So yes, glow in the dark. While everything is drying, I'm going to finish off my last steps. I'm putting some of my gems onto the little fans. I've got so many. As you can see, I go through some nail gems. I do indeed. And a little secret, I wear them on my teeth. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed. Maybe I could insert a picture. Yeah, been bedazzling my teeth since I was a kid. And it's funny, my teenage daughter, she does the same now. It's like I've started a thing and it's going to go on for generations. Anyway, back to the business. So now I'm just going to select which gems I think work best. I think I'm going to put black on the white and white on the black. So here we have it. I've added some strings and I've also kept some without the string. Again, optional if you just want to stick them to your wall. So as I said, there's going to be a mix and match in the bag. And here we have it. So let's take a look at the final results. And as usual, if you have enjoyed yourself, if you found some value from this content today, make sure you hit that like, share and subscribe button, guys. Remember, follow me over on Patreon and my private Facebook group, Think Big, build small. And don't forget to check out the link in the description for all of my socials. And if you do want to purchase these for yourself, head over to my Etsy store or private DM me for any special requests. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye bye. Like, share, subscribe.